Welcome back to the Bluegrass. It is a beautiful, beautiful winter day. 9 degrees, sun's out though, and dogs are happy. Snowed a little bit last night. Not so much snow we can build a snowman, but enough snow for the dogs to slide around and have a good time. Gave Eli a little bonus so he wouldn't hide by the heater, so I got him on the camera back there. He's shivering a little bit, but he'll do okay. But what we're going to talk about today, we're just going to kind of walk around out here while I'm getting these dogs exercised. We're going to talk about a comment that someone left on one of my YouTube videos. Let me see, I'm going to give him a shout out. His name was Monty Desi Jokes, right, Eli?
Yep.
Monty Jokes, something like that?
Monty Desi Jokes.
Monty Desi Jokes. Okay, so shout out to you, buddy, because you started a good conversation in my head. And actually, I have to give Eli credit because he was the one that was looking at the comment section and said, you know, we haven't talked about this particular question very often, or maybe at all. And so what the fellow was asking was he said that he enjoyed watching my videos and kind of the motivational aspects of my videos. You know, the food work, the getting out, the being engaged in lots of activities and stuff. But he also enjoyed watching traditional videos, and he specifically referenced like Cesar Millan. And his question was, how should he go about deciding which approach to dog training, which approach to influencing his dog's behavior that he should pursue? So that's what we're going to talk about. Come on, dogs. Come on. It's cold, so I have to keep these dogs moving. Now, so I get to thinking about it. And of course, me, like all dog trainers, you know, my first inclination is to go, dude, just watch my channel. My channel's awesome. Why would you want to watch any channel other than mine? Because I like the way I do stuff. But look, if you're gonna be honest, you know, what I do or who I am or how I speak or the jokes I make, they're just not for everybody, okay? Not everybody wants to get out and go walking with their dog for extended periods of time. Not everybody likes to hike. Not everybody likes to go to the lake, you know. Not everybody likes to take the time required to put their puppies on a ration control program. You know, I understand that. And I'm not judgmental because I have worked for and with people that have very different views of how to approach dog training than I have, okay? So I'm not judgmental in particular of people as long as they're a true master of their craft. Now, I am judgmental in some aspects, okay? I don't like people that just pick and choose little bits of training programs and kind of hodgepodge them together and like try to make something new. Okay, because there's really nothing new in the world. You know, people talk about food work trainers or people talk about traditional or compulsive trainers, like that's a new phenomenon. But guys, think all the way back to when the first caveman drug a wolf puppy home with him, right? And there were some cavemen in that cave that liked to share their elk with the wolf, right? And there were some cavemen who just kind of whacked the dog with their club when it jumped up on the kids, okay? So that positive reinforcement, you know, positive punishment model for training dogs, that's as old as dogs are. So, you know, don't think like just because we're in, what year is it, 2019, that the dog training that you see now that's real popular is better than the dog training in 1975, because it might not be always, right? And you might say, but Stonnie, what about everybody does food work and the treat works and it's positive reinforcement and whatever? Yeah, well, kinda. But what you see with that is a lot of dogs that jump on people, that pull on leashes, that are rude to other dogs, that get in fights, that run out in the road and cause car wrecks because they don't have a simple understanding of what's acceptable versus non-acceptable behavior. Okay. Another thing that happens when you start talking about traditional training techniques is you'll think, well, that was mean or inhumane, and maybe you have seen someone do those techniques in a way that seemed mean or inhumane to you. Guys, that's probably not so much a reflection of the actual methodology as it's a reflection of the person that was demonstrating the methodology not being proficient in its use. Okay? So, if I'm going to steer you towards a mentor, right? If you like to get out and get moving and spend lots of time developing a relationship with your dog where you gradually encourage the dog to understand how to access what it wants through indirect action. If you like that approach to training because you want to see what is possible, Like when you get up every day, if you sit and you think, man, I wonder how I could use exercise and structured positive reinforcement in such a way as to affect change in this dog's behavior from yesterday, right? Then watching me is awesome, right? Watching me is awesome. If, however, you're a more stern character, you work a lot, or well, just maybe you're just a more stern character, you know? You're just that kind of guy that or gal that likes to lay down the law and say, this is the law, this is the way it's going to be. I'm going to apply the law with firmness and consistency and persistence, but this is the way it's going to be. I'm cool with that too. I just don't really like to train like that because, you know, that's not what makes me happy during the day. What makes me happy during the day is to get out and make Eli walk. Eli's got one of them little Fitbits on, and he's Fitbitting it, and we on average walk 10 miles every day, right, while we're working dogs. 10 miles. Because we're working a lot of dogs, you know, and we never stop moving from daylight till it's time to go to the gym. Then we come back and we do the same thing till dark. We never stop moving. So we put those miles out. I enjoy that. I'm 47. I would like to live to be 100 years old. So I enjoy the walking. Eli's 21. He thinks that's too much walking, but he's got to pay the rent, you know. So I've got Eli trapped until I can get Eli in the habit of doing things like I do, which is exactly the same methodology that I'm using with the dogs. I just do it over and over and over again until they internalize those principles, okay? I like doing the food work. I mean, I think it's really fun to watch a dog try to figure out how to get pieces of kibble from me. Right? Because they're looking at me and they're like, what about this, Stonnie? What about this, Stonnie? What about this, Stonnie? What about climbing over here, Stonnie? And once they start to understand that specific pattern, you know, they start to understand they can get a piece of food from me. Well, right off the bat, it clicks with them. Wait a minute, that's just not a piece of food. Stonnie's also happy with me. He's giving me information that I'm doing the right thing. I'm competing with these other dogs and I'm winning. See, that's what I like. I like to train based on mutually beneficial exchanges. That dog gives me something that tickles me, right? And I give it something back that makes the dog happy. And that's what I like to do. Is it the most efficient way in the world to train a dog? No, it's not, right? There are more efficient ways to train a dog in the short run, okay? But I don't look at things in the short run. I look at things in the long run. Okay, so yes, you can, you know, use some of those traditional techniques. In the short run, you can get a dog that walks a little better on the leash or goes and sits on a bed or something a little better, right? But doesn't really last from my perspective because most people lack the stick-to-itiveness that people possessed in the past to make that happen in their own homes, right? So, like, why do I do my style? I do my style because I like it. And I like putting the time in early. And I think that the long-term positive externalities of teaching a dog to behave through making it understand how to access resources through indirect action, I think that's the best in the long run, okay? But there are a lot of people, and a lot of them are my friends, and they're like, Stonnie, why do you waste so much time? A common thing that other trainers will say that don't train my style will be like something like this, like, dogs don't teach other dogs what to do. They teach other dogs what not to do, okay? That's 100% true. You don't see these dogs out here. Whenever you're watching my videos, watch. Those dogs aren't like holding classrooms, you know, exactly like, oh, you sit here, you lay down there. Not really, you know, they're just kind of doing their things, following along and learning as they go, right? But you'll notice sometimes the dog will tell another dog what not to do. You know, don't jump on me, don't take my spot, don't take my spot at the water bowl, whatever it is, you know. Don't wrestle me, I don't want to wrestle right now. And most problems that people run into in life with their dogs are related to like behaviors that a dog does that they would like it to stop. Like, you know, don't pull on the leash, don't jump on me, don't jump on grandma, don't get in the trash, don't. If that's all you need, I'm probably not the right mentor for you, right? Not me, because I need more. Because I need to like have something to think about every day. I need something to get tickled about every day. I need something to look forward to every day. And I do not look forward to telling things what not to do. I look forward to telling things what to do. But I have friends, guys, that if you have a problem and you know your dog is jumping on people, they can solve it real quick. If your dog is getting in the trash, they can solve it real quickly. If your dog is being mean to your kids or being mean to your grandma, they generally can solve it pretty quickly. Okay, so when you're looking to choose a dog training mentor to teach you an overall methodology or approach to dog training, first thing you need to do is like make sure that your like desires match up with what your mentor is offering. Okay, there's no reason to pay me a lot of money on one of my online courses or to come out here and see me in person if you don't like going hiking, if you don't like getting your dog out and finding small challenges and pushing the dog to its physical and mental limits every day and pushing yourself to your own mental and physical limits every day. Because I'm going to waste your time. You're going to pay me a fair amount of money and you're going to leave here going, well, all I really wanted was my dog to stop pulling when I walk it after work. I'm not that guy, I'm not that guy. I got a much bigger, broader, set of things I'm working on every day. There are people on YouTube that offer very simple, straightforward approaches to dealing with standard basic obedience questions, right? If that's what you need, then that's who should be your mentor. And it's not that you shouldn't watch my videos, or if you watch my videos, you shouldn't watch their videos, but you have to pick which one is going to be your mentor, okay? You have to, human beings learn through narrative. They learn through stories. Okay, so I'm going to weave a story when you're out here, okay? And that story is basically going to shape your worldview as it relates to affecting change in your dog's behavior. All dog trainers have the same three things to work with. Exercise, because exercise, a tired dog is a good dog. Structured positive reinforcement activity, because a dog that's busy doing the right thing can't be doing the wrong thing. And some type of direct physical intervention. You can control what environments the dog go into or what comes into your dog's environment. Or you can step in and physically control your dog or correct your dog if it gets out of compliance with your wishes. I don't focus much on the third. I focus primarily on the first two. I think that almost all dog training problems can be solved with judicious use of exercise and structured positive reinforcement activity. Right? And you're just never going to convince me that that's not true because I do it every day. Every day. Not some days. Not with one dog at a time. I do it every day, 365 days a year. If you don't believe me, check my Instagram page out. There's pictures from Christmas, Easter. If it's a day that ends in Y, I'm working dogs that day. Okay? And I have a lot of dogs around here. And so I can tell you from living with dogs all year long for years and years and years, the proper energy regulation leads to good behavior. Good behavior leads to things to reward. Rewarding things leads to more good behavior. And you can go from having a dog that has this many problems to having a dog that has this many problems really quickly if you get on top of the energy management and you get on top of the rewarding good behavior and engaging in structured activities. But like I also have trained a lot of dogs for people that they just don't want to put that much time in it, right? So they end up wanting to focus on the third thing, which is the physical intervention. They put their dogs in crates a lot, or they don't take their dogs places where there's lots of other dogs. Look at this. See all these other dogs? Like I would never show you. Come here, dogs. Come on. I would never show you a video where I'm talking about how well trained a dog is, okay? If the dog is not able to demonstrate how well it can behave in a big group of dogs or in a big group of people. Because I don't need a dog to mind when I'm bossing it. I need to be able to tell the dog to get in the truck and go to a barbecue or go to a soccer game, and the dog make autonomously selected decisions as to what's appropriate for the situation. That's what I need. That's what I want. I don't want to have to get out of my truck and be stern. Right? Does getting out of your truck at the soccer game, heel, sit, down, does that work? Of course it works. But it doesn't work for me because I don't like doing it. Okay? So if you're looking for a dog training mentor here on YouTube, who are you? Right? That's where you start with all your dog training issues is who are you? Right? What do you want your day to be like? Right? Are you stern? Are you super well disciplined yourself? Do you have a relatively sedentary routine in your life? Do you work a lot of hours? You know, who are you as a person? That's the first step. Who am I? Right? Once you decide who you are, then you get on YouTube and you start looking for people who, when they go to talking to you, you say, oh, that makes sense. That's it, right there. That's it. You have to say to yourself, oh, that makes sense to me. Because if from the first day you start in with a mentor, if that mentor can't explain things to you, complex concepts broken down into digestible bites, and using a vocabulary that even a novice dog owner can understand, you're not going to get very far with that mentor. It's just that simple. You have to be able to listen to me talk or listen to someone else talk and say, oh, that makes sense. That's the first step. So when you're watching me, if something I'm doing, when I'm walking around and I'm talking about this dog here, or I'm talking about one of these other dogs, here dogs, oh, come here, babies. I'm talking about one of these other dogs here, right? If it doesn't make sense to you, I'm not the guy for you, right? You need to find somebody that makes sense. That doesn't mean you can't watch my videos and be like, oh, that's cool how Stonnie does it. It just means it's not going to work for you. Okay, so that's what I want you to do. I want you to decide who you are, and then I want you to browse through YouTube until you run up on somebody that makes sense to you. Now, here's the little caveat to that, though. You have to realize on YouTube, a lot of people are dabblers. And what I mean by that is they read books or magazine articles or videos or go to seminars, and they take the little things that someone else says and then they make videos about them. Okay? And so in the beginning it'll make sense because like the way the concept is being phrased or presented, right? It is part of an overall system. That doesn't mean that the person presenting it understands the system. That's very, very important, guys. So when you're watching, guys, and you're trying to think about who's going to be your mentor, like, where are the dogs? That's the first thing I always ask. Where are the dogs? Because if they're, here dogs, come on. Because if there's not a lot of dogs, oh my gosh, good dogs, good babies. If there's not a lot of dogs, then we don't know. We don't know what they're really doing, okay? I don't know that there's a dog in the whole world that won't sit in the kitchen by the cookie jar, right? So you can take a dog and put it in a very low distraction environment where it doesn't have to show that it has good interspecies or intraspecies socialization or good environmental socialization, right? And make them look like they're very obedient. Okay? That doesn't mean they really are. That doesn't mean that the dog possesses the capacity to make good decisions when you're not watching it super closely. You know, that's kind of another pet peeve of mine. Like you'll see a lot of times, you know, people talk about how well trained a dog is. And so you'll see them and they'll be out and they'll be like, heel. And they'll be, you know, going through Lowe's or Home Depot or something. Sit, stay. And I mean, that's not bad. I mean, it's better than a dog that won't do those things, right? But that's not how I want to go to Lowe's. I don't want to go to Lowe's like this. Stay. I want to go to Lowe's like this. Get in the truck, dog. All right, come on, let's go in Lowe's. And I'm looking here, and the dog can talk to people and be petted by people, and maybe it sees another dog over there, it can be polite and have a polite dog-to-dog conversation, right? So when you see those potential mentors, and they're saying things that make sense to you, make sure they're demonstrating it. And they're demonstrating it in a high distraction environment. Because if they're not demonstrating in a high distraction environment, to be honest with you, it just doesn't count. You don't need a dog to mind when there ain't nothing going on. You know? Even the worst dog I see during a year is pretty good when it's just the dog and his owner at home. You know, they might be bad for 5 or 10 minutes when the owner gets home from work, but that's about it. You know, so that's what I'm saying. Like when you look at those potential mentors, find somebody that makes sense to you. Find somebody that weaves a narrative that you could see you weaving for your own personal life. Find someone who has a toolbox so that when they open that toolbox up, even though their primary techniques are laid out for you, they understand that your life might not allow for you to use the primary techniques, so they have to have secondary and even tertiary techniques that spring off of that basic worldview, that basic methodology. Now, once you get there, now you're cooking with gas. You know, now everything's going to work out fine for you. And that is how you learn to train dogs. You internalize that person's system, that person's approach, that person's methodology, okay? And then you just kind of look around, right? And it's like that becomes your steak. And you can put a little salt on it, you can put a little pepper on it, you can put a little butter on it, but you don't change the fact that you're having a steak for dinner. So the idea that you can take a little bit from this system and a little bit from that system and a little bit from this other system, that makes you a dabbler. That makes you a jack of all trades. And what you will end up with is a dog that performs well in low distraction environments, but lacks the capacity to perform with speed and precision in real life. And that'll come back to haunt you. It'll haunt you at the barbecue. It'll haunt you at your child's soccer game. It'll haunt you in the Lowe's parking lot when that dog darts out across the road and you don't know how to get it back. Okay? So that's my kind of opinion on picking a YouTube mentor for dogs. If I'm that mentor, great, that's awesome. You know, that's cool. I'm glad you come to watch my channel. And even if I'm not that mentor, come back and watch. You know what I'm saying? Just to get a kick out of watching the dogs hang out and get a kick out of what we do, because we do some fun stuff around here. If what I'm saying doesn't make sense to you, though, don't try to make me your mentor. Pick another mentor, right? It's just that simple. But make sure when you pick that other mentor, he doesn't just, or she doesn't just talk the talk. They walk the walk, and you see them with lots of dogs in lots of situations, with lots of people, right? So that you know that the core elements of their system are reliable under all conditions. And but I guess that's about all I needed to say. Did I miss anything, Eli?
I don't think so.
Okay, guys, now be sure to check my channel, because we're fixing to make tomorrow another video about how to choose the perfect puppy, or really kind of more like, can you choose the perfect puppy? All right, so watch this video and then be sure to come back here and check my channel and think seriously about making me your YouTube dog training mentor, because all I want for you is to get out, get moving, and be interesting, right? So if that sounds good to you, keep coming back to my channel. If that doesn't sound good to you, well, I'll see you later, and best wishes on your Spartan lifestyle.